Hey friends, it's Arch Kennedy. I want to talk about something making big headlines, Pope Leo XIV. He's the first American-born pope, and people are already calling this a new era of hope and unity for the Catholic Church. But as someone who loves the Lord and follows Scripture above all else, I'm approaching this moment with both curiosity and caution. I'm not Catholic, but let's be honest. What happens in Rome doesn't just stay in Rome. When the Pope speaks, the whole world listens. And for many people, especially those outside the faith, his words shape how they perceive Christianity as a whole. That's why it matters deeply what kind of leadership we see from Pope Leo XIV. Now, I'll give credit where it's due. He opened his papacy with a call for love, peace, and fraternity. All of that sounds good. Who doesn't want unity in a broken world? But the question we have to ask is, unity around what? Because if unity isn't grounded in biblical truth, it's just a well-dressed form of compromise. He's made a few early statements that show promise. He emphasized the sanctity of life, standing for the unborn, the elderly, and the vulnerable. That's a solid foundation, and I'm glad to see it. But in today's cultural climate, that kind of conviction is constantly under fire. And I want to see if he holds that line when the pressure builds. Take gender identity, for example. The culture is working overtime to erase the God-given design of male and female. And if the church doesn't speak with clarity on this, it risks surrendering truth for the sake of cultural approval. So far, Pope Leo hasn't spoken directly on that issue, but I'll be watching closely. And then there's the LGBTQ plus conversation. He's taken a softer tone, talking about dignity, inclusion, and creating a welcoming church. That's important. Every person is made in the image of God and deserves compassion. But love doesn't mean affirmation. Grace doesn't mean we excuse sin. If the church bends here, it bends at the expense of the gospel. Now, on immigration, I actually found this message refreshing. He's talked about treating migrants with dignity, and as someone who served in Latin America, he's seen human suffering firsthand. Scripture tells us to love the stranger, but loving them doesn't mean open borders or ignoring national security. It means compassion with wisdom, and I hope he keeps that balance. At the end of the day, here's what I'm watching for. Will Pope Leo XIV lead the boldness of Scripture or the softness of sentiment? Will he be a shepherd who stands firm or one who tries to please the world? I'm praying for him, and I'm praying for the church, because we are in a cultural moment where clarity is everything. We don't need more religious figures who blur the lines. We need leaders who proclaim the truth, no matter what the cost. If you want to read my full take, I wrote about this in depth on my blog. Just head over to archkennedy.com. In the meantime, I'm Arch Kennedy, bold, unfiltered, and unafraid.